Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Reminiscence starring Hugh Jackman is now out in theaters and on HBO Max. I got a chance to check this movie out, so this is my review of Reminiscence. Before I get started talking about this movie, guys, let me know down in the comments, what did you think about this movie, and where was your anticipation level for it? I'd love to know your thoughts. With that said, let's get started talking about it. And I thought this was a pretty solid sci-fi thriller, and I enjoyed most of it. I think the concept in and of itself is pretty interesting, and watching the movie, I was intrigued by what was going on. I was invested in what was going on, and I think it was executed and brought to life on the screen pretty well. I think the entire cast does a really good job here. I think Hugh Jackman is really good in the lead role, and I really enjoyed Rebecca Ferguson as well. I really liked how her character was kind of the driving force of the main story, and the relationship between them kind of leads to some really emotional stuff by the end of the movie, and I wasn't anticipating that. I didn't think this movie was going to have as much emotion as it did, and when it happened, I actually really felt for the characters, and I think that made the movie a little bit better for me. I thought the story was quite good as well, even though I do think that the movie could have done a lot more with the concept like this, like going into memories and reliving them and stuff. I think they could have done a little more with it, but for what the story was, I do think it worked quite well, and the way it was executed really made the movie pay off by the end of it really well. I think the visuals in this movie were really cool. The cinematography was great, the color correction, the visual effects in general, all of that was done in a really cool way, and the way some of the action scenes were shot, you could see everything going on. It was really great. Now, this wasn't an action movie, so it doesn't have as much action as I would have wanted it to, but I understand that because it's not an action movie. But when the action does happen, it's really cool. It's really shot well, and there's specifically one action scene that I absolutely loved, and I did not expect an action scene like that from this movie. Now, I do have quite a few issues with the movie. I think they could have done, like I said, more with this type of concept. I would be interested to see like a similar concept with a different type of story instead of just being an investigation story. I think that way they could do a little bit more and explore the other sides of this type of technology of going to memories and reliving them. Although I did really enjoy the mystery aspect of this film, I think that would have worked a little bit better because it's a little bit bigger of a story. I also thought that the first half of the movie wasn't really good. I think it was quite boring at times, and I wasn't as interested in that as I was in the second half. The second half really got the movie going, and it had a lot more action, a lot more exciting sequences, and it kind of brought the whole, like, the story to an ending really well. So it felt like a satisfying conclusion, whereas, like, the journey itself in the first half of the movie didn't work as well for me as it did in the second half. And it was also really slow, so because of that, I think they could have fixed the pacing a little bit by shortening it and making it more exciting, more fun, and just kind of go a little bit faster, so that way we could get to the second half sooner and the movie would have paid off a little bit better if the first half wasn't slow. I also thought the movie was a little confusing at times because I wasn't as interested in the first half. Some of the stuff explained there didn't make sense to me in the second half, but by the end of the movie I did understand it, but while watching it I was confused. So I do think that could have been fixed a little bit if they made the first half of the movie a little more interesting. So overall, I thought this was a pretty solid movie. I think it's definitely worth checking out if you're interested in these types of sci-fi thrillers. And because this movie's from a first-time director, I actually enjoyed it a little bit more because it's hard to direct a movie, and from a first-time director, this is a pretty impressive project. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. And I believe she's also related to Christopher Nolan, and there's a lot of Christopher Nolan stuff in this movie, like the style and like the way you have to think while watching the movie. You could definitely notice that in the film, and because Christopher Nolan is my favorite director, I do think that kind of helped my enjoyment of this movie a little bit. As of right now, I'll give this movie a B-. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I may move it up to a B on rewatches if I enjoyed it a little bit more. But as of right now, I'll give it a B-. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Let me know down below in the comments, what did you think of Reminiscence? If you haven't seen it, are you going to check it out? I'd love to know your thoughts. If you enjoyed my review, be sure to leave a like. It really helps me out. And subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.